Unmute us.
So if you were watching my lips move and didn't hear anything, you probably cheered. But now you should be able to hear. So again, we're glad you're here with us. And I don't like my setup tonight. Not sure what's different than any other time, but
let's turn sideways.
Well, I want it turned sideways, but it just didn't set like I wanted to set. But anyway, that's neither here nor there.
Picky.
Long day.
Very, very long day.
But you survived?
I don't know yet. The jury's still out on that one.
But you're here with our friends and our loved ones and others.
And others. There's Joe and Patty and Mary.
Patty.
Hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
And gals.
Well, we're going to do our opening and going to talk a little bit about, I think, what my Saturday sermon is going to be. I'll give you a hint up front. The title is Pastors.
Oh, that's going to be hard to come up with music for that one.
Well, that isn't the end.
Oh.
There's actually a song that's perfect, but it's not a Christian song. So listen, you'll understand in about 10 seconds. Pastors, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Which are you?
I'll let everybody decide after I preach the sermon.
Actually, I know which he is.
I'm actually not going to be involved in any of the three. I've got three different people picked out, and I've got under the good an amazing representation of a pastor / leader who did just a wonderful job of showing love and kindness and grace in a situation where love and kindness and grace wouldn't be what the person got in most situations. And that's a personal knowledge I have of that one. The second one is I would say world-renowned, because that's true, but more so a pastor here in America that has stumbled. It's well known that he has stumbled, but he is able to get past that, be forgiven, be restored, and so that's the bad.
Do I know that one?
I would explain it to you.
But it would give away?
Well, you would know if I explained the situation.
Oh, okay.
You don't personally know the person, if that's what your question was. And then the ugly. And I've been praying and trying to figure out, I've needed to, I felt, address the Ravi Zacharias situation. And Ravi Zacharias was a beloved pastor of huge church, huge ministry. And he passed away, I'd have to look, probably about a year ago. And unfortunately, since he has died, we have found out that he was a very, very, very ugly person.
Wow.
And so through my prayers, I thought, what about a good story? What about a bad story, but doesn't necessarily have to end bad? And then the Ravi Zacharias issue, I mean, it's just plain ugly.
Wow.
And I'm going to wrap that all together into our faith is not in our pastor.
Absolutely.
Our faith is in Jesus Christ. And too many people follow a pastor. I go to so-and-so's church. Well, you do. And if you're just saying that so that somebody can identify with where it is, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you say you go to so and so's church, as it is that it really is their church, then there's something messed up.
Absolutely.
Because the church belongs to the Lord. It's the body of Christ. And so
good point.
That is what we are going to be talking
about. Well, I'm excited about Saturday night. That's like that bait in the water, tempting those fish.
You can be here live at the Father's house at 1417 Pearl Street in Columbus, Indiana. And we would love to have you. We know that we've got one family that is leaving tomorrow for Gatlinburg, so they won't be with us.
Faithful family.
And Janet Alexander Geisler. I wish we didn't have on Facebook, they just called you Amy Boston. Because maiden names get in there and I get tongue-tied. She said her son used to listen to Ravi a lot. He was devastated to hear about his misconduct. And see, that's why I'm going to talk about it. I don't want to sweep it under the rug. I don't want to make it like, all preachers are great. At this point in time, unless Ravi repented before he passed away.
Spell his name.
R-A-V-I.
V-I. Okay.
Ravi.
Ravi. I couldn't tell whether you were saying Robbie or Ravi. Okay.
Ravi.
Okay.
And it's just sad.
Right.
I don't want anybody to follow me. I only call Ed Boston Ministries what I do so that it can identify who I am. If I called it the XXX Ministries, as in those are all different letters, not XXX times 3. I read your mind.
I'm like, where is he going with that one?
A person may not know what that name is,
right,
but they actually know me by person. So that's and a huge amount of ministers call their actual ministry their name ministries. Bob Russell is a wonderful man, was a wonderful pastor at Southeast Christian in Louisville, and that's what he does. Bob Russell Ministries.
Well, we refer to this as the Father's house because we believe that it's from the Father.
And I would never name a church Ed Boston Church.
Absolutely not.
It's identified with the ministry just so people know whose ministry it is. I am the pastor, and we are the founders of the Father's house. Our names don't even have to go in there. There'll be a time where we won't be able to be here, and somebody will have to preach in our place at the Father's house. Boy, I'm not looking forward to your reaction when we have to have somebody else preach here in our house and us not be here.
Well, that'll be hard, but that's all right.
We'll figure it out.
Absolutely.
Speaking of figuring it out, we are looking forward to hopefully on the last Saturday of this month having a pitch-in dinner.
We are?
I said that earlier. It's not earlier tonight. I said it about.
What date is the last Saturday of the month?
Well,
that's what?
I don't have a calendar.
That's a pending. That's a pending. It depends on
what we find out.
If we get a surgery date.
And that's what I said 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
And you said that's all pending.
Okay.
And it still is pending.
Okay.
But we are hoping on the 27th, March the 27th, to have a pitch-in dinner for our in-person live folks. And we may do that. I'm debating on this one. on whether we'll do that at another church location to where there's more space, or if we're just going to do it right here in the Father's house. We'll just let you know on that. But so if you've never been, the 26th would be a great time, or the 13th would be a great time. And actually, it's the 27th, not the 26th.
Ah,
Because we know our numbers are going to be down with the one large family not going to be here. And I'll just be honest. Amy and I kind of get a little discouraged when there's hardly anybody here.
absolutely.
And I mean, we're just being honest and open. We're just real people. And so we'd love to have you come and join us this Saturday. Okay. So we talked Tuesday about all of our Tuesday ordeals. Yesterday,
Tuesday ordeal. Oh,
you know,
right.
your appointment, Roberta's appointment,
Right.
the screwed up appointment,
Right.
the screwed up doctor's office, it all worked out. And, you know, even if they screwed it up, it still all came out.
Everything worked out.
All came out in the end. And you know what? I don't know if Roberta's in there or not.
I haven't seen her.
She went to that place she gave us a gift card for. That's where she's at today.
I am so jealous. So jealous.
I don't think that's one of those places I don't think she needs much nudging to go there.
Right. I don't blame her. I don't blame her.
She loves that city, she told me.
Well, it is such a cool place.
Now, see, I've never felt that way about
it. It's got a lot of history. It's got a lot of neat buildings. I like it. It's kind of cool just to go and look. I wouldn't want to live there, but it's just a neat place to go.
And so that's where, if she doesn't make it back in, she'll probably watch us later. So hope you had good food, Roberta.
I'm sure you did. Jealous. Hope you ate a hush puppy for me.
Yesterday, let's see, we went, you got a new pair of shoes.
I did.
How did they feel today?
Really good.
Really good.
Really good.
Which is much better than the last time. You had, this time, the last time you had shoes, you had bloody ankles.
Yes, I did. I came home and I was miserable. My feet were killing me. And they were expensive Skechers shoes. And they were horrible. And I thought, I mean, my ankles were bloody. They had blisters. It was horrible. And I thought, I am not paying this much money for a pair of shoes for not to wear them again. And I stuck it out and I wore them day after day after day. And every day I come home, my feet were killing me. They were bloody every single day. And it probably took 2 weeks before those shoes were stretched enough to where they didn't hurt. And they started to feel better and better and better. Either that or I just toughened up. I don't know which.
I'm sure they felt better.
They couldn't have felt any worse. And when you're on your feet 12 hours every day, you got to have shoes that feel good. Well, these did not feel good. Well, they finally did.
And then she loved them.
And I did. I loved them. Wore them every day until
about 10 days ago.
Yeah, about 10 days ago. Right around the toe where they're sewn together, the seam came out. And one day I went, what happened to my shoes? And about 2 inches of the seam was split. There's Bert. We love you, Bert.
Yeah, we already told you that. We already said, well, something like that.
Yeah. So about 2 inches of the seam was out. And I'm like, are you kidding me? These expensive shoes. I'd never paid that much for a pair of shoes in my life. He had, but I had not.
Not many times.
No, I'm like, no. I'm one of these $19 Walmart specials, and that was high.
Yeah, that's
And
on the high end.
yeah, that was high end for me to buy.
Trust us, we know that because
yeah,
we've been there.
Been there, done that. I don't pay that much.
Of course, yesterday we got schooled on shoes and how long you should expect them to last.
Yeah.
And so if you spend $60 to $75 on a pair of shoes, how long would you expect them to last? Okay, I'm asking that to those people. Those people. The folks that are watching. And now I'm going to ask you what your expectation was. Now, don't go way out there.
Well, I'm thinking what I spent for those shoes, I should have gotten a couple of years out of them. That's not too much. I don't walk around in mud puddles. I don't soak them and, wear them completely out. I'm not extremely hard on them. I mean, I'm not extremely easy on shoes, but I'm not like, pounding on them, and I'm just not. I wear them every day and 12 hours a day, but I'd be able to get a couple years use out of them. Ha ha ha.
Well, so we go in, and I'm assuming she was the manager. She at least was the manager on duty,
right?
And Karen just said a year, hopefully. And so Amy tells her the situation that she got these shoes about 6 months ago, and tells her what happened and everything like that. And the lady was real nice through the whole thing.
Very nice.
She said, but unfortunately,
Joe, we have a winner.
Joe got it right on the nose.
Joe got it right on the nose.
She told us that the life expectancy of a pair of shoes, even a good pair of shoes, and to me, $60 to $75 is a good pair of shoes.
Very.
3 to 6 months
exactly
is what you can expect.
Joe's our winner for today.
And so, not even a year, much less 2 years, and we're not sure if it was even. We'd have to look it up because we got a rewards card through there, and it'll have our purchase, or we could look it up through our bank statement. We think it's been about 6 months. We're not sure. We know it was during COVID, so it's sometime last year.
I couldn't believe it. Could not believe it. 3 to 6 months. I might as well go back to Walmart and buy $19 shoes.
No.
If I'm not going to get any more than 3 to 6 months on them, why would I spend $60 to $70 and get 3 to 6 months?
I think you're going to get on the long end of 6 months with these. And
I hope. They're not even cute. The other ones were at least cute.
And you wouldn't last 2 months with a pair of Walmart shoes.
The other ones had at least silver sparkly blingy on them. These are just pure black, non-skid old lady shoes. I guess I'm an old lady, so.
You only use them for work.
And everything else, I put my shoes on at 5:30 in the morning, and I take my shoes off about 8:30 at night. Every day. Used to, you couldn't put a pair of shoes on me.
So we got schooled. We got Ava last night.
Yes, we had George. I had my little Georgie Porgy. We sure did.
So
oh my goodness, she was so cute. We had Bible study, so we took her with us. She decided she was going to help lead Bible study. So down the aisle she went, right down front. She didn't care one bit.
And actually, at that point in time, nobody was leading Bible study because we were watching it.
Yeah. Watching the video, so she just traipsed right down front.
Yes, she did. She was a big girl.
Yeah.
Did you notice when she was walking uphill, she was walking on her tiptoes?
On her tiptoes.
We took her to Culver's and got her a grilled cheese sandwich and gave her a few French fries.
And she ate applesauce.
And ice cream.
And ice cream.
She doesn't warm up to Papa a whole lot yet. and that's okay.
Yeah, she's a grandma girl.
But she warmed up enough to eat the ice cream that I fed her.
Oh yeah.
See, that's
Yeah.
a papaw thing. At least this papaw.
We should have had more time where she could have eaten more ice cream, though.
Well, we had to get where we had to get to Bible study, and so.
Wow, Red Wings, and you only got 3 months out? And Joe said that your feet are very important and you need to take care of them. On the railroad, you were lucky to get 3 months, and they were Red Wings. That's a shock. Red Wings are like top of the line boots, so I'm shocked. Wow. Because I had 511s when I worked at Atterbury, and I wore my 511s to death. I wore them, I mean, and they were sturdy boots, and I loved them. But we got new boots every year, so. But I'm shocked. Red Ring, boy, I cannot talk. I'm going to just give up.
Joe worked hard on the railroad.
He sure did.
And he still works hard
he sure does.
When he goes to consult. What a way of life that is.
Boy.
Pick and choose when you work. And then.
But you know what? I wouldn't have wanted to do that work. That's hard work.
Well,
I mean, not to consult. I don't know what he does consulting, so I don't know if that's hard work or not. But when he worked on the railroad, that's some dangerous stuff right there.
And hard.
And hard.
And
much cold
appreciated.
And wet and
hot.
Hot, absolutely. All of the above. And very much appreciated. That's important stuff right there. Got to know what you're doing, or that's dangerous.
Absolutely is. Well, I want to do a little bit in the Bible tonight. And I don't know if last year when.
Oh, wow. Joseph the Brera bought them 2 pair a year. That's awesome.
This book I have here, which the cover recently fell off, and I've not gotten the opportunity to tape it back together. For those that were in Bible study at Come As You Are Ministries when I was teaching Bible study, and we're doing something different right now, we'll know these things, but I'll share it with you as well. There's people that aren't even from around this area watching tonight, and so my grandfather was a Wesleyan preacher, and he was my hero, my human hero, earthly hero. And I was fortunate enough that actually when my grandfather passed away, my step-grandmother gave away his library. And I didn't know who she gave it to at the time. After I went into the ministry, the man contacted me and said he had my grandpa's library and wanted to know if I would like to have some of the books.
Wow.
And so fortunately, I've been able to acquire part of his library. And if you could see, try not to lose my place, on the inside of this, which you just saw nothing other than a blank page, it says Reverend Oliver C. Boston. Nobody called him Oliver. Most people didn't know what the C meant. He was known as OC to everybody, or Dad, or Grandpa, or Papa, or something of that nature. Brother Boston, a lot of times. So this is his book, and I always get excited when I see that he has stamped his name in something, or I actually, and I got to figure out what I did with this. I looked through here and I found an old sermon of his that I preached after I found it. Updated it a little because he probably preached it in the 50s or the 60s. And so this book it's used for prayer meeting, I think it says, doesn't it? Yes, 100 prayer meeting talks and plans. Well, prayer meeting in the old-fashioned sense was kind of like Bible study. You did it on Wednesday nights. It was your midweek service, different ways that you can call it. And so this was what that was for. Now, if I were to read much in it to you, you would understand that it's not in modern English. And as I look through the front, guess when it is published or copyrighted? 1911. 1911. But you know what? As I look through and I read and everything, the phraseology is different, but the truth of the Bible is still the same today as it was in 1911, as it was in the beginning of the United States of America, as it was when Jesus ascended into heaven. Bible is the same yesterday, today, forever. And the topic of this one is gratitude. And they use Psalm 103:1, bless the Lord, O my soul. Bless the Lord. So some hints to this and some thoughts. If you think gratitude, I'll coach you along here. I won't ask you. If you think gratitude, what word most often comes with that? Give.
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving. Absolutely. And so more people know Psalm 103 by heart than almost any other psalm except for the 23rd Psalm. 103rd Psalm of David, who was mature and more experienced. Every child should learn it word for word, storing up riches for a time of need in later years. It is one psalm a person learned from his mother's lips in childhood and always loved, which went far to develop that which was true and lovable in his character, thanksgiving. I love Thanksgiving, and not just because of the good food. Well, we had a bunch of food this year, didn't we?
We did.
2 different times. Oh my goodness. And then
awesome.
A couple days later, we got COVID.
Yeah.
We won't be celebrating COVID this year on Thanksgiving.
Nope.
But I like the meaning of the holiday. You know, of course, my favorite holiday is Resurrection Sunday. My second favorite holiday is Christmas, which both should be used as a Christian holiday and not a secular holiday. And I don't have anything to say about Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny. It's just that those holidays are the resurrection of our Savior, Jesus Christ, and the birth of our Savior, Jesus Christ. But after that, I think it's Thanksgiving, because maybe Veterans Day is in there, but Veterans Day to me is its own separate individual thing. It's just special for its own reasons. And if you want to put your favorite holiday in the comments, that's okay. Trying to lately ask some things that you can join in and pitch in with. Thanksgiving, though, you think about where Thanksgiving in the United States come from, and you think about the meal with the Pilgrims and the Indians and all that, and they were thankful just to be alive and have made it through the year. And I think much like on Christmas, reading the Christmas story, that maybe for the future we'll start reading a Bible story for Thanksgiving, a story of Thanksgiving, and maybe 103rd Psalm would work there. So Thanksgiving, back to gratitude. Where your treasure is, there your heart is also. So what do you in your life put the treasure in? And I'm not talking about your piggy bank when you come home and that's where you put your your coins. We have a piggy bank, but we don't use it much anymore because
No.
we put it in the other room, out of sight, out of mind. And
Yep.
what's that?
Joe and Patty like Christmas. That's absolute for sure.
And we still haven't given them their Christmas
I
presents.
know. We still have all your Christmas presents here.
If our treasure, our dearest treasure, is in the world, we are not likely to get very far above it. Rise we may, in a sense, but it will be as the kite rises, all for the height that it can go is just the length of the string that holds it to the earth. So when our worldly ties are broken by the winds of adversity, like the string of a kite, away we go. Something that we can be thankful for, our friends. We are to be grateful and thankful. I like this idea. I have not come across this in the past. Hourly blessings. Hourly blessings. Easy for you to say.
Yeah, right.
For blessings innumerable, we give thanks. One mercy from the hand of God is of great value. Daily mercies surprise us when we take a little time to think of it. That God should think of us every day and prepare some suitable gift for us each day throughout the year and never once fail is enough to awaken us wonder and gratitude. But our mercies from this bountiful hand are falling every hour, every minute, every second. Who shall reckon them up until him in order? I think it's kind of like praying without ceasing.
Sounds like.
We need to be grateful for the small things in life. Not just grateful that we bought a new house, or somebody being grateful when they get a new car, or maybe even it's not even a necessity. A necessity. Maybe it's a new boat. And you know, I sure hope we're grateful for all of those kinds of things. But are we grateful that we made it to our destination and didn't have a wreck? Because while we were in that shoe store yesterday, they got a call that an employee had a wreck on the way to work.
And totaled the vehicle.
And the vehicle was totaled.
Yeah.
Jimmy Hoppus, who goes to church with us at Come As You Are Ministries, bought a 2021 pickup truck. He had made one payment.
Yeah.
One payment.
The day before.
And totaled it. Totaled it.
Yeah.
So are we thankful for the fact that we got to where we were going? And beyond just getting there safely, are we thankful that our car didn't break down? That we were able to be on time and not have to walk the last 2 miles where we were going? See, we can be thankful in so many different ways. And one of the ways we can be thankful is paying things forward. When God has done something good for you, do you then in turn pay that forward and do something good for somebody else? Now, I don't want you to answer. I just want you to think about it. I think we probably, almost all of us, can do better with this. But one good turn deserves another. I mean, that's a saying. And, many of us talk about how good God is, but then do we share the goodness that God has shared with us with others? And I'm not talking about even sharing the gospel right here. Has somebody in front of you in line at the grocery store come up a few dollars short on what they were paying for? Now, the bad thing is most people don't carry much cash anymore, and sometimes that's difficult, but what's wrong with throwing a couple dollars on the counter and saying, there?
Or even so much as like paying it forward in line at McDonald's or Burger King or wherever and pay for the person behind you.
We, as a prayer group, paid for Mike and Michelle and their 3 children that are still with us to have a long weekend at Great Wolf Lodge. They'd gone through so much in that past year and are since going through more than they were then.
Yeah.
But, a group of us pitched in the money. It was close to, I think, $400 that we took.
I think
close to five.
Yeah.
Close to 5. And, that's a lot of money for a small group of us to put together. But you don't even think about how much it cost when you hear how much fun they had and how relaxing it was.
And the thank you card they sent.
Yes, it was an amazing thank you card.
It was.
One of those that, the whole Mike, Michelle, and family story, if you know the story and don't cry, this coming from a person that doesn't cry very often about anything. If that story doesn't make you cry, then I don't think you're going to cry about anything.
Right.
I mean, it's
a tearjerker.
A tearjerker. Thankfulness is a blessing. Cultivate the thankful spirit. It will be, this will tell you it's old. It will be to thee a perpetual feast.
Be to thee.
Be to thee. His mercies never faileth.
Faileth.
There you go.
Faileth?
Faileth. Well, actually, I even inverted 2 words, makes it, I said it a little more like we would say, except for faileth. His mercies faileth never.
Wow.
1911, folks. Remember, this was written in 1911.
I think my grandpa Coon was born in 1911.
Well, my grandpa, whose book this was born in 1903. So this book was almost as old as he was.
Yeah. Faileth never.
Commander Miss Eva Booth recently, in citing the lack of gratitude which permeates the human breast, was explaining that every function enjoyed by the human body is taken as a matter of course, and that no spirit of thankfulness is really ever felt until some organic trouble comes to disturb the physical equilibrium. Again, 1911. It wasn't all peaches and cream back in 1911. We never appreciate the value of our arms, our feet, our ears, or our eyes until an arm is injured, a foot is paralyzed, our hearing becomes defective, or our sight injured. When we feel exceedingly thankful at the restoration of that organ to its normal basis. I was walking with my father, General Ballington Booth, down a street which ran alongside of a lunatic. Ooh. I'm going to read it. It's what it says. Run down alongside the street of a lunatic asylum. Without warning, a wild-eyed man seized my father's coat sleeve. Sir, he said, did you ever realize what a blessing you have in a sound, well-balanced intellect? Well, I did not know that I ever stopped to think about it, said the general. Then get down on your knees and thank God for it now, replied the lunatic, who was temporarily enjoying a certain degree of rationality.
Oh, my.
Miss Booth explained that her father offered a prayer of gratitude then and there, while the lunatic lapsed into a stage of hopelessness, raging idiocy.
Just include us in with one of the Pepe Le Pews and the Dumbos and the Peter Pan. We're just going to be gone after this. Yeah, this is it.
You know what?
This is it for us.
I could have sugar-coated that and skipped those words, but you know what? There was nothing wrong with that when it was written in 1911. I think it says something that they even included it in the book. A story about in our lifetime, mentally disabled person. I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't usually run across many stories of that nature to share stories about. Are you going to be okay?
I'm just waiting on them to censor us and close us down, and
I hope nobody got offended.
We're going to be the next Pepe Le Pews.
I didn't read that to offend anybody.
Well, and it shouldn't be offensive. It shouldn't be.
Especially when you look at the topic of the story, the mentally incompetent man grabs the guy by the arm and says, have you ever been grateful for having a clear and sound mind? There. That's today's speak.
Absolutely.
That's the point.
That's exactly the point.
We can be thankful for things that we don't even think about.
Absolutely. And for that man to have the fortitude to be able to do that speaks volumes. Right. And I mean, well, it was nobody should be offended by something like that. Absolutely not.
Well, and it was a God thing.
It was a God thing.
The guy had a mental disability.
Absolutely.
And for a few brief minutes or seconds or however long it was, he was clear enough to say what he did.
And taught those people a lesson. God let him teach them to be thankful for what they have.
You know, a lot of times poor people are not thankful at all. No. They think, what do we have to be thankful for? Then if you were to sit them down at the computer and show them some pictures from different parts of the world where they barely have enough drinking water, enough clean drinking water just to survive. So,
I have been to a point in my life where I lived in a house with my oldest son, and I had no heat in that house. And it was cold. I had no hot water. I had to heat water in a microwave in order to bathe him. But I was thankful for that microwave because I was able to make hot water to give him a bath.
Well, and how about this? So if I set you down and show you a picture of an area, whatever country in the world it is, that they have to have bottled water brought in, or they have to have a new well pumping station to come in, are you thankful for that Polar Pop you had?
Absolutely.
You're poor. And I'm not even getting into the things that you have that aren't necessities.
You got concrete under your feet?
You're not sleeping on a mat. You have enough water to survive. You have enough water to bathe in. And somebody might say, well, what about the homeless? Well, I'm not going to talk about the homeless tonight because I would get off actually, she would get off way off course. And that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about being thankful and being grateful for what we do have. And so if you're in our case and you look at somebody who has a 40-foot motor coach. Before we bought the house, that was my thing. It was in my radar. That's what I wanted to end my life.
Yeah.
But I was grateful for what I did have. I just wanted something more. Some people can eat at 5-star restaurants or stay in 5-star motels everywhere they go. And we can't do that. But I'm not bitter about that. I'm thankful for Texas Roadhouse, which we might go Sunday. Oh, Sarah, I hope you're not listening. Oh, we are taking some friends out to lunch after church on Sunday. It's their Christmas present that we're just getting to.
Just finally able to get to. But you got to be thankful for what you have and not take it for granted.
So that's where we were tonight, being grateful, being thankful, and we can also be thankful that we were born at this point in time. You say, oh, during COVID?
No, see, not 1911 when they were calling people names.
Well, actually, there was a pandemic back in those days.
Right.
I think it was 1917, but I'd have to look. So they had a pandemic to deal with. But yeah, even with 2020 being what it was, you know what? There were people born in babies born in 2020.
Absolutely. Uh-oh, Sarah's here. She heard you.
I was thinking that anyway. But there were babies born in 2020. So when they get to be 20 years old in 2040, they're probably not going to say, I wish I wouldn't have been born in 2020.
Sarah said she was thankful for having us as neighbors.
Well, thank you, Sarah.
How sweet are you?
And we wish you was still our neighbor. We got some good neighbors here, though.
Yeah.
But we still wish you were our
not
neighbor.
like you, Sarah. They have two big dogs, not little Jazzy.
Who had? Oh, the neighbors?
Yeah.
Oh, our neighbors' dogs would.
They want to eat Liberty and Justice, but they actually are really friends, but they sound like they want to eat them.
Yeah. Well, they tried to eat Patty.
Oh, yeah, they did. They sounded like they were going to, but they really are sweet dogs.
It's hard to describe.
It is. It's hard to describe what they're like, but oh my. Amanda's uncle Larry just died or has died. She said
she's talking about crying. You know, I was talking about crying.
Right. And we need to really step up the prayer for her. She said that she's really sick. Her antibiotics aren't working real well. And her swelling is really bad and she doesn't want to be in the hospital, but it sounds to me like she probably should be.
And she has been twice.
Yeah.
Recently.
Yeah. And so she probably should be, but.
Well, let's talk about this other thing real quick and then we'll get to the prayer list. We're looking to kind of reformat a little bit. Mostly with a new name, maybe a little bit different focus. The last few weeks, 2 or 3, we've kind of tried to do current events on Tuesday and Bible study on Thursday, not held into that where it has to be. But I sort of say I'd just like a generic name, but not the Father's House or Ed Boston Ministries is where I'm going with that. Something that we can use to identify this as a prayer service, a prayer group, an Ed and Amy time together. You know, one of our favorite parts is just sitting here telling you about our day. And you know what? I know some people don't like that, but I know that there's some people that tune in just because we talk about that. And that way they can say, oh boy, my life ain't so bad.
Or, those people are crazy.
Or I thought I was crazy, but look at them people. So we're looking for a new identity for the prayer service. I don't know how to explain what I'm trying to say.
Ed and Amy's crazy hour.
That crazy Boston couple.
Yeah, something.
Um, Next Thursday will be the 18th of March, the 1 year exactly anniversary. We started this prayer service March the 18th, 2020. So we will be doing a special program that night. We'll basically be taking a look at the year in review, but not exactly like you would on the end of the year. Look at 2020 from January to December.
We'll be here for the next 3 days after that.
Well, we wouldn't even get through January, and that's before COVID.
That's true.
Well, that's before we knew about COVID.
Well, we started this because of COVID.
Yes, we did. Let me get to the prayer list. Bonnie Ryder, Cookie, Darren Petrie, who had sepsis and he got to go home. And he sent me a picture the day after, well, probably early yesterday. And he had a picture of him in the hospital and an after. And he just looked like he felt like $1 million versus 3 pennies. So, yeah, he's my little buddy. I'm going to slide the family of Debbie Whitus down. She passed away last week. Donna, still recuperating from a broken nose and cheek. Dora Collier is home. And I've really been negligent on following that story as close as I was. But the good news is that she's home. And they're working on some things like help at night so Bill can actually sleep sometime and things like that. The Gain family, Gracie, JD, and Bree. Bree is about ready to pop.
Oh, yeah.
So we're praying for a safe delivery and a healthy delivery. Amy came home tonight and said that JD must be nesting.
Yeah,
is that what you said?
He's nesting.
Well, she said he was like mopping all the floors and wiping everything down and
yeah, he's nesting.
So we'll continue to pray for them. Jeremy's grandpa, Jeremy Helms, Sarah's boyfriend. Sarah, is there an update on that we can share? Jesse, Jimmy Hoppus, we're still praying for him. Sunday when we saw him, he still looked pretty rough from where he gotten banged up.
He has 13, I think he said 13 stitches in his forehead.
Joyce Webster, we're going to slide down. Her surgery went well. Loretta Stanley is
she's going to have foot
surgery. Manuel Viveros.
Victor.
Still praying for his cancer. Mary, the mother of Jennifer, is still holding on. And I got to tell you, I never thought that she would still be around.
A strong woman right there.
They were making plans.
Absolutely.
A little after this time last year.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, she came to visit family, but for the last time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what
she wanted to walk the beach.
Yeah.
She wanted to go for a walk on the beach for the last time in her life, and that's been a year ago.
Yeah. It's getting close.
Yeah.
Mary Bailey and her family. Mary's such a good friend of ours and a good friend of this prayer service too. Absolutely. She's been one of the.
Mary and I grew up together. We've been friends since we were young.
And she's still friends with you after
I know, it's a shocker. A shocker. She still speaks to me. I don't know why.
Michelle, we talked about her and her family earlier. She now has breast cancer. She's going through chemo, and Karen sent a message a day or two ago that says she's been really, really sick from the chemo. And as we said earlier, if that story doesn't get to you, then there ain't no getting to you, I don't think. Mitch Robinson is home. Pam, Amy's first cousin, Patty's sister, is having more issues. She has leukemia, had been doing well for a while.
Right.
And we had actually moved her down to the secondary list, but we've had to bring her back up. Praying Boy Preston, Shay Michaelonis, Sheriff Matt Meyer, Chief Mike Richardson. Insert your sheriff's name. Insert your police chief's name. I got tungled. Never mind. I'm going on to the next one. The Thin Blue Line. In here on Tuesday night, Tanya Jackson asked us if we'd pray for her brother Tim. He has COVID and pneumonia, and he was in, I can't remember, I think she said critical condition, I think. All of our unspoken requests.
Amanda, niece. Amanda niece?
Right.
Okay.
You had said that earlier.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I wasn't skipping you, Amanda, I promise. I was using her telling us about it as that being the list. Pray for our country. You know, we made a lot of fun, and we live in the strangest times I can't even imagine.
When you banned Dumbo and Peter Pan, and now Jesus is a racist?
We didn't even get to go there, and that was the plan for tonight. That was what we heard.
Jesus is a racist.
Get this, a black conservative that is in shock of all of this stuff that's supposed to be racial, and he said, and he is a comedian.
He said, Jesus, take the wheel.
Yes, he did. Jesus, take the wheel.
He said, the man that died for everybody, it doesn't matter what color you are, he died for you. And he's a racist? Take the wheel.
So let's go ahead and pray, because we get started and we'd never stop.
We'll be here for another hour.
Yeah. Father, thank you for being with us tonight, and thank you for the study on gratefulness and thanksgiving. And Father, it was also a good lesson on how things may be said differently in today's world than they were back in 1911. But just because it's a different vocabulary doesn't mean that what was written back in 1911 is something that we should just throw away. Help us to understand that things were different in other eras. Even in the last 50 years, things were different. And Father, help people to get a grip on things. We know that it's more about disruption, confusion, and those kind of things than it is about real racism and real, well, fill in the blank on whatever people get offended by. It's to divide. And they're doing a good job with it. And sometimes I have to rebuke myself, and I talk with Amy, that many times we're just playing right into their hand. And we're talking about Pepe Le Pew and being focused on that, and they're over here doing things that nobody's focusing on that probably need to be. So, Father, help us in those situations. And I ask your blessings upon each person that we've mentioned in our prayer time. Father, lift Amanda up right now. We lift Amanda up right now to you. She needs her body healed in the name of Jesus. She needs swelling to go away. She needs the antibiotics to work. And she just needs a touch of the Almighty God's healing powers. We lift up Tim Jackson. And Father, we know that COVID is real. We know that it still happens. We know that people still die from it. So we don't want to ever underestimate the severity of this illness. So take good care of him, Father. Heal his body. And Father, as we close this time together out and we look forward to our church service on Saturday, we just ask that you would guide us each one, direct us in where you would have us to be, help us to watch our words and have us to say what you would have us to say. And Father, put us in contact with those that need to hear the good news of Jesus Christ. And Father, help us not to be shy or ashamed of sharing that word. In Jesus' name, amen. Whew.
All right.
Well,
come here, Liberty. You got to get your cameo in.
She was scared to death in the thunderstorm today. She's never liked thunder and lightning.
No, we had to have a thunder jacket or the thunder wrap thing for her, and we used it on her multiple times, and she did so much better after that. She's done tremendously better. Justice, he could care less. He could care less. Yeah. He's always cared less.
He's the kind that you would say could sleep through a thunderstorm.
Absolutely. Liberty, she's scared. Justice, he could care less. So there we go.
There they both are.
Yeah.
We have one suggestion already for our the Boston Prayer and Share hour.
Oh, I like that. The Boston Prayer and Share.
And that is from Karen Wilcox.
I like that, Karen. That's good.
Keep bringing suggestions.
Yeah.
We don't have a time frame that we have to have it. We've survived for a year doing things the way we do.
Right.
So Saturday night, we would love to have you here at the Father's house in person, 1417 Pearl Street in Columbus. Like I said, we know we're going to have some people that are gone and going to be out of town. So we would love to have maybe some new people.
Absolutely.
How about that? Some
that
new
would
people.
Be awesome.
Some people have been here once or twice, and we'd love to have them to come back.
Absolutely.
And we've worked with a couple of different couples that we thought were going to come and then just never quite got here. And so maybe some invitations out to them and just
everybody is welcome.
Help us to build the Father's house.
Absolutely.
Say goodnight, Amy.
Good night, Amy.
We love each and every one of you. Now, Amy's going to walk in front of you after I say, go and do the right thing.